Every one of us have gifts. Nothing is wrong with human. Nothing is wrong with human. Something might be wrong with the strategy, and we can fix strategy. So when you try to be excellent, you are fixing the strategy. So when people give you feedback and they tell you something that you have done wrong, don't be quick to judge and throw it in the trash. You know, when I hear people and say, this is me, this is how I show up, this is why I do things. To God, you can come as you are. Just as I am, I've come to you. Yes, to God, you can come as you are. He's a loving God. In fact, to your parents, to your mom and dad, you can be as you are. But in the world out there, in the society out there, they are looking for excellence. They won't take you as you are. Sorry for the bad news. Have you hired somebody for a job and you end up doing such an amount of work that you felt like hiring them was a mistake? Have you ordered something and what you ordered was different from what you got? In today's video, I just want to share my lesson on excellence. The Bible has said it several times how about an excellent spirit was on Daniel. There are some places where the Bible has mentioned an excellent spirit coming upon Bezalel, who was able to provide artistic and the structure that was part of the creation of the temple. So excellence is something that you want to add to your work, in the way you do your work, in the way you show up, in the way you add your signature to any process that you are part of. You want to be excellent, and the excellent is the habit of applying your best, to a situation, task, or an action. So when you talk about excellence, is applying your best to a situation, to a task, to a process, to a business. When you show up and you apply your best, that is excellent. When you have an excellent spirit, you are always willing to learn new things. You are always willing to understand the frontier technology that they are using for that process. When you have an excellent spirit, you are always challenging your status quo. You are always challenging yourself. You are always ready and willing to learn more about that skill or about that process or about that situation. So an excellent spirit is when you have this desire, this thirst, this appetite to apply your best to a situation that you are given to do, or to a situation that is calling for your skill. So when you think of excellence, you want to know that excellence is not having some type of OCD when you are trying to be overly perfectionist and you are acting like a perfectionist. You want things to be very perfect. That is not excellence. Excellence is not being perfectionist. Excellence is not being overly critical of a process. Excellence is not a destination. It's not where you get to and you say, oh, we already got to our steady state, things are working well, everything is fine now, we can relax and enjoy. That is not excellence. Excellence is a journey. You're trying to iterate on the process. You're trying to update on the process. You're trying to improve the process, to improve your skill, to improve your talent and your gifts in that area, so that you can continue to serve the people better. And when you think about excellence, you also want to know that excellence is not abstract. It's not something that you just have in your mind, and it's something that you just, an image that you have in your mind. Even though an excellence is built on our imagination, but you want to think of excellence as something that is not abstract, it's concrete, it's measurable, it's something that you can look at and say, this is excellent. In Proverbs 22:29, Solomon said, look at a man, just see this man, just check out this man who is diligent in their work. Solomon said they will not stand before ordinary men, they will stand before great men. When you want to think about that verse, you want to realize that excellence is not something that is abstract, it's measurable, it is real, it is obvious, it is seen, it's your brand, it's how you show up, it's how people see you. They see the signature of your excellence on something. Let's give an example of a coiffeur, somebody who tries to be the best in making hair. People know them for that skill, and because they know them for that skill, they know them for the signature and the beauty they bring to their customers. Then they will continue to have people to serve, because people will continue to spread the word around their excellent service. Excellent service is a brand. When you have an excellent spirit on you, it will show up in your results. So excellent is not abstract. It's something that is measurable. It's something that is real. It's something that is obvious. It's something that is observed. People can see it. People can view it. People can measure it. And excellent is something that it shows up in your results. It's not something that is not only abstract. It shows up in your output, in what is coming out in your results. When you start making sure you are excellent in the way you do things, in the way you apply yourself to your task, to a situation, to your business, to your service, it will show up in your results. It will show up in your output. It will show up in your profit. It will show up in your number of customers. It will show up in the number of calls and the referrals that you will continue to get. Excellence. When you think about excellence, to me, excellence is the quality of being outstanding. I want you to think about excellence. When you mention the word excellence, it means something that excels, that outshines others, that goes above and beyond, that step out of the crowd. When you want to think of excellence means you are outstanding. You are standing out. You're standing out, and being excellent is not about noise. It's not about making noise. Excellence is not about making noise and making sure you talk to the management and you're showing what you're doing, but it's a measurable result that every people who have a problem and who are looking for people can provide them the solution. They are able to see the result and see the output and measure your excellence. So excellence is measurable, and excellence is not a destination. It's being outstanding, and that because you are outstanding today doesn't mean that you're going to be outstanding tomorrow. So excellence is not static. That's the point I want to add to what excellence is not. It's not static. It's something that continues to evolve. It continues to be dynamic. What you are doing 10 years ago is not what you're doing now. You're doing better in your business. The way you market, you're doing better. In the way you teach, in your work, maybe you're a teacher, the way you teach, you're doing better. You're learning new skills. You're learning how to communicate better. You're doing better. You are learning frontier technology and tools that can make your results better. So excellence is not static, it's dynamic. It's a dynamic process. You look at the things that you have created in the past, and when you compare it to today, you will say, oh, this is what I did last year was not comparable to what I have now. That is an excellent spirit. An excellent spirit makes you challenge your status quo. You don't settle. You continue to question your process. You continue to question why you can't go up and level up and show up and be better. Excellence is a push. It continues to push you to develop yourself, because you can't grow beyond your personal development. You can't grow your community beyond your own personal development. So whatever growth that you want to see around you, it's going to start with you. So your excellent spirit is your own push that continues to make you push your own frontier, that want to make you to stretch yourself, to do things that are daunting, to do things that are scary. Because excellent is not static, it's dynamic. Excellent is not a destination, it's a journey. We continue to move towards it. Paul said, I strive towards the high calling. It's an high calling. Excellence is an high calling. Excellence is something that will bring you before great people. I think it was Apostle Joshua Selman that said this, that until you serve King, keep developing yourself. And I will add this, even after you serve King, keep developing yourself, because you need to develop yourself to serve the King of Kings. Enough of all this average service, even in the house of God. Enough of all these average sermon, even on our pulpits. We need leaders who can put in the effort and bring us messages from the throne that will stir up revival in our church. Not people who will come up with message within 5 minutes and they say, oh, because I have the gifts. Because you have the gifts, yes, the gifts of God are without repentance, but that doesn't mean that you can't continue to develop that gift so that you can be excellent at it. Excellence does not settle. You continue to improve and iterate on the process. So I've said a lot of things about excellence, and I've said some things about the definition and what excellence is not. Now let's talk about what is excellence in our day-to-day, in our work, in our business. Think about excellence in your business. What makes the customer to come back and say thank you? What are the things that you do that makes the customer to refer you to another person? What are the ways that you show up and people look at you even in that networking meeting and they quickly want to ask for your business card or to ask for your contacts? That is excellent. Excellence is something that is visible and is quickly identified. People can see it quickly, and because people have problems that they need other people to solve for them, once you continue to provide excellent service, excellent good, excellent product to people, you will continue to have business. You will continue to have followers. You will continue to have people listening to you. You will continue to have people who value your gifts. Excellence is a process. Excellence does not settle. I don't want to be too theoretical when it comes to excellence. There are so many examples of excellent people in the Bible. When you talk about David, there was a story when David was decided to count the Israelites, decided to count the number of the Israelites, the people, and conducted a census, even when God was not happy, because God didn't want them to be measuring their success by the numbers. But David went ahead to do that. And then God was not happy and things started happening. An angel was engaged to judge the Israelites. There were a lot of deaths. Thousands were dying. And at some point, David wanted to persuade God to forgive the sin that he had committed. Because a leader's sin is a leading sin. David was the one that committed the error. David was the one that performed at below the excellent level, but the people are the ones that are being impacted. When you are not excellent, it cannot only affect your business or your results, it can affect your community. It can translate to other areas in your life. So David, when he realized the mistake he had committed, he decided to make a sacrifice. And you can read that story in that book. And when David decided to make that sacrifice, David said something. The man where the angel of death, who was destroying the people, the man that owned the property where the angel was standing at the time when David said he was going to persuade God to see whether God, or to seek for God's forgiveness. So David brought the sacrifice. David thought to himself that there need to be a sacrifice, and the man said, don't worry, I would provide. And David said something. I won't make a sacrifice to my God that will not cost me something. Excellence is a costly business. If you want to be excellent, you are going to have to pay for it. You are going to have to pay for it. Not always in cash. Sometimes you pay for it in your discipline. Sometimes you pay for it in your diligence. Sometimes you pay for it in your humility by being willing to learn from others. David was humble. He brought himself down and he said, I have sinned here. I need to do better with God. I need to be more excellent in my leadership. And David made sure he paid for the sacrifice that was used in that story. Excellence means you are willing to go ahead and pay the cost. Excellence means you are willing to learn about your mistake. Sometimes we don't want, because of our ego, and I'm not just saying this to make you feel bad. Every human has ego. We like to be respected. We don't want people to point out our mistake. But it is in pointing out our mistake that we know areas to work on. Every one of us have gifts. Nothing is wrong with human. Something might be wrong with the strategy, and we can fix strategy. So when you try to be excellent, you are fixing the strategy. So when people give you feedback and they tell you something that you have done wrong, don't be quick to judge and throw it in the trash. You know, when I hear people and say, this is me, this is how I show up, this is why I do things. To God, you can come as you are. Just as I am, I've come to you. Yes, to God, you can come as you are. He's a loving God. In fact, to your parents, to your mom and dad, you can be as you are. But in the world out there, in the society out there, they are looking for excellence. They won't take you as you are. Sorry for the bad news. They won't take you as you are. They are looking for an excellent spirit. The Bible made us understand that an excellent spirit was upon Daniel, and he was 10 times better than the Chaldeans. That is coming from the book of Daniel. You know, that man was disciplined in his diet. Sometimes he would fast. That man was disciplined in his devotion. He would pray. He had specific time that he would pray and fellowship and have communion with God. That man was disciplined in his community, in his relationship. He was not friend to everyone. He was not friend to people who would derail him and distract him. He was friend with people that are going in his direction. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. He was friend with people who have the same value and the same vision. Excellence as a community. When you want to be better in your business, when you want to be better in your area of skill, when you want to be better in your career, you can't be sitting with people at the average level. You can't. You can have community, you can be in their community, but you want to be learning from people above you, people that are above you. There was a research conducted, I don't fully remember the name of the people who conducted this research, and they said the people that you sit around at your workplace has a way of impacting your productivity. If you sit around highly productive people, they can drive you to be more productive. And if you sit around lazy people who are average, who are lackadaisical about their work, they can help you to remain average. So who you sit around, who you keep company with, it matters to excellent spirit. You know, for Daniel, he was a very focused man. He was diligent. And if you have not watched the video on focus, that video is available in the channel. And if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe. I would love to hear from you. Drop your own thoughts in the comments. You know, when it comes to excellence is something that has to do with you taking to correction. It takes to correction. An example that comes to my mind was Moses. You know, Moses was the leader. God called him. God himself said, that is my man, the meekest man on earth. The meekest man on earth. I mean, that description of Moses showed up because so many things that Moses went through leading the Israelites from Egypt to the promised land, some of us will not take even 1% of it. He went through a lot of struggle in leading the people, in his leadership, and a lot of sacrifice that even impacted his relationship with his wife. But one thing that I want to point you out to is when the father-in-law, Jethro, visited Moses and he saw the way he was judging the people and he will sit up. He wanted to be excellent. He wanted to be excellent in what he was doing. And he will sit up every morning from morning to evening. He was doing the meeting and judging the people. And Jethro said, oh boy, you can't last. You have to iterate on this process. This ain't working. And he told him, and Moses learned. And he broke the people down into a group of 50 and he broke them into smaller segments and he appointed people to oversee those groups. He made his life easier. Excellence means you are focusing on where your energy is the most important. You are not doing everything. You are not doing everything. You are not the one providing all the inputs. You want to produce your product, every of the input, you want to be the one that is creating it. It will stretch you. You want to focus on that thing that makes you efficient in terms of your cost and makes you to maximize your profits. When it comes to your own service in your job, you want to focus your skill. For me, as I'm an economist, I like to analyze data. I like to write reports. I focus on that skill. I analyze the data. I write the report. I give it to the people who communicate it to the management. And if they need my input, I provide them with more answers to their question. What I'm saying is that you want to focus your energy on where it's important. And that was what Jethro told Moses. You want to be excellent, you have to be able to know where your area of comparative advantage is and focus on that area and continue to develop your skill in that area. Excellence is in learning. Is in learning and learning more about your area of skill. About learning more in your area of skill. And when it comes to learning, Daniel is another example. He said, I, Daniel, understood by books. Daniel was not just an excellent man based on his words, on being able to interpret dreams. Because when it comes to the interpretation of dreams, you have your own information set. And Daniel's information set was based on the word of God. He said, I, Daniel, understood by books. If you are in an area of your career, you want to understand what is the trend in that industry. You want to understand what is happening in that industry. For me, reading Wall Street Journal, reading the New York Times, following what is happening in the American economics research community is how I continue to understand what is happening in my area of skill. What is happening in the banking industry? What is happening in the financial industry? What is happening with the economy? As an economist, people should not be asking me that and I'll be saying, oh, I don't know. That is not excellent. Excellence means you understand by books what is happening. You understand by books what is happening. Even our Lord Jesus, he understand by books. He understood by books. You want to realize that an excellent spirit is a spirit, but an excellent spirit takes action. I said a lot. Let's just step back here. I just want to tell you why you need to be excellent. When you're thinking about excellence, I've mentioned that an excellent person will not serve ordinary people, who will serve great people. Your excellence, your signature of excellence will bring you in front of great people. Your signature of excellence that you put into what you're doing will bring you in front of great people. I recalled in 2019, 2020, when COVID hit, the organization that I was working with then, we did a lot of research on COVID's impact and then generated a lot of reports. A lot of reports that went out there that informed the policy for reopening the economy. And then when COVID lockdown was still in place, there were not many jobs. And I recalled at that time, I was thinking to myself, I will continue to work with the organization that I was working for, and I will just see how the economy perform. And something in me said I should just submit an application to be able to participate in a grant. All these reports that I've been working on, creating the short video, a spiel, that continued to help me. By the time I put in my application for that grant and I put in the video, they were ready to pitch their fund behind my idea. When you excellent it cumulates. You might think I'm just doing this video for my job, or I'm just doing this video for my church. You don't know where it will take you to. Every opportunity for you to develop the skill that you have, use it. So that excellence that I thought I was putting in place, even in my small organization, even in my local church, took me to a higher place. Excellence accumulates. When you continue to develop your skill and you continue to enhance and make your service better, it continues to put you in front of great people. And great people talk among themselves. When great people start talking about you and how you have served them excellently, they continue to expand your business. That is how it works. Excellence is a marketing skill. When you have excellence, people market your product for you without you paying them. They will promote your product for you without you making payments for them. So excellent, you want to be excellent because you don't want to remain average. You don't want to settle for the less of your capacity. Excellence is an hunger that also requires appetite, because hunger is different from appetite. When you hunger for excellence, that means you just desire it, you want it. But when you have appetite for it, you will go all the way out to make it happen in your career, to make it happen in your academics, to make it happen in your business, to make it happen in your NGO, in your service, in your community. You will go all the way out. How do you become excellent? How do you become excellent? And I'm going to be practical with you in sharing things that I do to become excellent. Like I said, excellence is not a destination. It's not where you arrive and you say, I've gotten to my steady state. I am somebody now. It is over. I don't have to be excellent. I'm still learning. And part of what I'm doing on YouTube is for me to continue to learn and to continue to learn from you. So feel free to share your own thoughts in the comments so that I can learn from you too. So excellence doesn't mean that you settle. So for me, I tell myself, we are not settling. We will continue to learn. So every day I read, every day I want to understand. I ask questions. I ask myself hard questions that are difficult for me to answer for myself. Part of those questions was asking about my value. What are my values? What are the things I value? How does that value feed into my vision? And how can I be excellent in serving this video? How can I be excellent on my job? Those are the hard questions that I ask myself. And you want to know that excellence seeks to understand. It seeks to understand the process. It seeks to understand the situation. It seeks to understand what the management of your organization have in mind. What will please them? What is the problem that they want to solve? Because when you want to ask for a raise, you are not just asking in a braggadocious way, in an arrogant way, and say, I need a raise. No, you are pointing out the problem you're solving. And you are, based on that, you're saying, this is why I think I deserve a promotion. So you want to know that excellence seeks to understand the process. You want to understand your industry. What is the frontier technology and tools that they are using in that industry? You want to understand the system, how the government impacts you, how the environment impacts you, how the economy impacts your business. You want to understand the system, and you want to have a sense of how the structure of that place works. When you first join an organization or when you first assume into a role, the first thing you want to be doing is not to be changing the policy and the structure. You're going to complicate the matter. You want to first understand the process so that you can improve on it. So that whatever is already working well, you make it better. And what is not working well, that's where you focus your energy to make it better, so that there will be efficient and excellent service or excellent product. An excellent product is a brand. When you have an excellent product in your hand, you have people marketing it for you without paying them. An excellent service is a vibe. And what the reason why I call it a vibe is that when you remember the experience, you just want to go back to that state. It's a vibe. It makes you feel good. When somebody that you have employed to do something for you and they do it excellently well, they make you feel so good. You want to refer them, you want to talk about it. In fact, you want to organize another event just because you want to get them more business. Nothing brings favor like excellence. When you focus on your area of comparative advantage and you become excellent at it, people will be asking you why you are doing it, how you are doing it, because you continue to remain in that business. Favor is merited. So you want to seek to understand. That is my first point. I want to seek to understand myself, to first to understand my capacity. Excellence is not being a perfectionist. Oh, you want this to be overly perfect. No. But you want to look inward and see, is this the best I can do? Am I applying my best to this situation? Am I applying my best to my work? Am I applying my best to my business? Am I applying my best in my relationship? Am I applying my best in my health? Am I applying my best in my parenting? Am I applying my best in my service? That is what you want to ask yourself. You want to look inward. If you yourself, you know that you are not applying your best, maybe that's the time to level up and become better. The second thing that I would ask myself is that I will ask for feedback from my manager, from the people that I'm working with. What do you think about my work? What do you think about the report? What do you think about the analysis? What do you think about my video? Feel free to put that in the comments. What do you think? Sometimes we are afraid to ask people for review or feedback because we don't know what they will say. But something that I've learned in a job that I worked in is that complaint is gift. When customer complain, that is an area of business for you. Because when customer complain about things, that is an area they will be willing to pay money for and that you can make money from. Complaint is a gift. So when they give you feedback, I'm not going to call it complaint, I will call it feedback. When they give it to you, look at it and review it. Don't just say, this is me, take me as I am. This is what you can get from me. That is pride. That is pride. We should be willing to be teachable. Excellent. Ask for feedback. Excellence, seek to understand. Excellence, keep learning. Excellence, keep evolving. Excellence, show up with their best. They show up with their best. You show up and you want to bring your best to that situation. You show up and you ask yourself, Yewande, is this the best you can deliver? Is this the best you can do? Is this the best you can gift God? Is this the best service you can give to your community? Is this the best way you can communicate? Is this the best of you? Excellence doesn't settle because excellence is a journey. It's a journey. Paul said, I seek for the high mark of my calling in Christ Jesus. We have a high mark. As Christians, we have a high mark. On our job, our mark is higher. We have to show up with excellence. I will close with that Proverbs 22:29. It says, check out that man. Check him out. That man that is diligent in his work. Check him out. Just watch him for few months, for few years, for several years. He will continue to progress consistently and he will show up before great men. Excellence provides consistent growth. Thank you for joining me on the Our platform. My name is Yewande and see you in the next video.